Hey everybody, it's Father Edward, and today I am sharing with you another edition of what I call Father Edward Opens the Mail. This started, I think, during COVID, maybe. Just a lot of the different books publishers were sending me to share with my audience. And so I have a lot of books. Like I'm looking here, I have at least probably a dozen. I probably should have done this a few weeks or a few months ago. I should have done this. And it's just something I've been putting off week after week. I would think, oh, today would be a good day. But then, you try to balance it with all the different content you put out. And I don't want to overload people and everything like that. So essentially, the premise of Father Edward Opens the Mail is I share with you the different promotional materials that I've received. I don't get paid for any of this. I'm just spotlighting them. I haven't looked at them, but it's more to raise awareness. And if you watch throughout this video, then you will see all of the different things. And maybe, one of these products is going to pick your curiosity or your interest. And you might head on over to Amazon or the publisher website and you might acquire it yourself. So I think we should just get started. So these are in no particular order except that they were piled. So I'm going to assume that it's going to be most recent to a long time ago. So let's just take a look here, shall we? So this one comes to us from the Marian Helpers, and that's a publishing arm of the Marians of the Immaculate Conception. Few different books in here. The first being Glorious Encounters with Mary. So one of the reasons a lot of publishers send me books and material is because they want me to interview the person on my podcast. And so I have the audio podcast, which has a much wider reach than the video, which you can always see the view count on. I've been doing the audio since like 2019. So that's had a long time to build up the subscriber base. Whereas the video, and so sometimes people will listen to the audio and not the video or whatever, vice versa. So this is Glorious Encounters with Mary. And if you look real close, there's Joyful Encounters with Mary. That's another book that Maria Gallagher has written. And I actually did interview her on my podcast. So you can go over, find Hey Everybody, it's Father Edward on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can listen to the interview about Glorious Encounters with Mary. Essentially, in this book, it's Maria Gallagher walking through the glorious mysteries of the Rosary and finding the connection in her own life with these Rosary mysteries. So you're looking for a new approach to the Rosary, Glorious Encounters with Mary, I do recommend. Here is a little booklet. So you see it's a little booklet. It is a booklet, so it's not like a devotional that's set for, certain days or whatever, but it's called The Bread of Life. You see this little insignia here. That's for the National Eucharistic Revival. So there's going to be a lot of books about the Eucharist. Fortunately enough, I put out my book, Meditations After Holy Communion, back in like 2021 or 2022 with Sophia Institute Press. I am looking at writing another book on the Eucharist, kind of have the idea, just have a few other projects ahead of it. But a lot of material you can expect on the Eucharist, just like during the year of St. Joseph, there were a lot of books about St. Joseph being published. So this is just renewing your devotion to the Sacrament of Mercy, the Holy Eucharist. So preaching the Eucharistic Lord, an overview of the Eucharistic Revival, what is the Eucharist, St. Faustina in the Eucharist, the Mass, Eucharistic Adoration, how to make a holy hour. So all of these things contained in this little booklet from Marian Press, The Bread of Life, renewing your devotion to the Sacrament of Mercy, the Holy Eucharist. As we continue now, we have this one was my most recent interview. Actually, one of my most recent interviews. It was 2 weeks ago now. But this one is called 1 Hour for My Priest. And it's a little prayer book published by Our Sunday Visitor. And the author is Tina Jost. And different devotions. So the Stations of the Cross or the Rosary. Um, one of my favorite mysteries is the Visitation. So let's go to the Visitation. So this is if you're going to pray for your priest, if you're going to pray with this book, like you'd hold this book and then you'd have your rosary in your hand. And there's a prayer here. Jesus, at the instant when John the Baptist recognized you in the womb of our Blessed Mother, remember this priest. We praise you, Jesus, and exclaim, my Lord and my God. We cry out with joy for love of you, our infant King. Remember Father Blank. So remember Father Joe at the very moment of this blessed visitation. Please help Father Joe, for example, to bring Jesus to others, our Father. Help him to serve others promptly, Hail Mary. Help him to bring consolation to those in need, Hail Mary. Give him loyal friends, Hail Mary. So, kind of that goes before the Hail Mary. Much like, the scriptural rosary where you would read a phrase of scripture, this is putting an intention before each of the mysteries of the rosary. There's the Stations of the Cross, lots of other prayers. Again, go listen to the podcast episode, and you can hear more from Tina about this book. Now, this was a book I was very unfamiliar when it did come in. I don't know if this is one of those books that got mailed to every Catholic parish or something like that. It's a thick book in order to do something like that. I don't know where the financing for that would have came from, but the Essential Handbook on Living Your Charisms, a practical guide for Catholics. So, kind of the sense here is that each one of us has a charism, that God has given us special gifts. And so it's up to us to respond to those gifts, to make use of God's gifts in our life. So, Jill Simmons has created this Living Your Charisms, a practical guide for Catholics. The book is actually signed, so that's cool. And there's a whole letter here. Thank you for agreeing to receive a promotional copy of this book. Apparently I must have said yes to it, so I should reach out. That's what that. So this goes on like the pile of I must get to. All right, so continuing on with Father Edward opens the mail. And again, sorry that it's so there's so many today. This also comes to us from Marian Press. um This book is written by, I don't know how to say her name, Catherine Bennett. So I'll show you the name so you can see why I would struggle. And Holier Matrimony, Married Saints, Catholic Vows, and Sacramental Grace. So I think a lot of people, especially younger people that might be entering into marriage, might have questions about how to live a holy marriage, if they have the acumen of the spiritual life. And so always books like this would make good wedding presents, things like that. Holier Matrimony. I always remember that Fulton Sheen wrote the book Three to Get Married. So that's always a good gift to give. We continue. So this is a book that I was really looking forward to. This actually completes my trifecta. I feel bad that I didn't do any interviews or anything like that. Um, I'm used to publicists, kind of following up, reaching out. So sometimes if I need to take the initiation, I hate to say it doesn't happen, but um, I have the other two. So this is called One Sunday at a Time. And it's Mark Hart. You see that name. He's known as the Bible geek for a long time and works with Life Teen. So what he's done is he's created kind of a guided, like going through the Sunday readings. I know that if I'm stumped on a weekend, this is one of the books that I'll take a look at. I can't say I look at it every week, but I do look at it when I'm like, I don't know what to say this weekend. I'll usually turn to Mark Hart just to see what am I missing in these readings. So that's published by Ave Maria Press. Grateful to Ave Maria Press. This is one that I haven't opened yet, so this is truly going to be a surprise. This is from St. Benedict Press, which is also which is also an arm of Can Books. Uh, just got a rip. There we go. Uh, oh yes. This is great. They told me they were sending this book, and I need to get back with them to make sure this interview takes place. It's so we had that other Eucharistic book. This book is called Martyrs of the Eucharist. So again, continuing that theme, a lot of books about the Eucharist. I'm just looking at some of the names in here. Blessed George Napier, those martyred in defense of the Blessed Sacrament, other deaths connected with the Most Blessed Sacrament, those who risked their lives for the Most Blessed Sacrament. So yeah, I love saints. This would have made a good book for All Saints Day had I thought of it sooner. But Martyrs of the Eucharist, for sure, I will be doing an interview to promote this book on the podcast. We are just continuing on our way. This book comes to us from Marian Press. So, a lot of publishers have stopped sending books, but they well, that's interesting. I did interview this lady, but not about this book. Um, so a lot of publishers have stopped sending these promotional copies, and they've been sending PDFs and whatnot. So you can kind of catch like which ones are still sending gratis copies out. So I actually interviewed this person just a few weeks ago on the podcast. Helen Hoffner is her name. This book is called The Cross, a Universal Symbol. Now, kind of the reason I interviewed her, and this was, I think Sophia must have set me up with her, but she had done a book about a decade ago about rosaries and different medals on the rosary and whatnot. So I did an interview with her about the rosary, but she has all the different crosses. So like just look. So here, the anchor cross or the Cairo there. You have the Tau cross there. Interestingly, so just last week, you might have seen a picture. I was with Father Joe Laramie. We got coffee in Green Bay. And Father Joe, I was showing him pictures of the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament in Alabama. And I said, yeah, here it is. And so we looked at the cross and we're like, oh, it's missing the top portion. And later that week, I found out that the cross is actually a Tau cross, which obviously I know what a Tau cross is. I just never have seen it on a church building, but that's apparently why the top portion of the cross. It's just the T of the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament. So the cross, a universal symbol. I've always been curious. For example, this one right here, where the cross and the little slash on the bottom. I've always been curious about that. So I'm definitely going to look that up in the book and see what that's all about. I know that it's related to the Orthodox and such. So let's see here. This book also from Marian Press. This book is by Kevin Wilson. Married father and lives in New York State, a healthcare industry exec by day. He's active in several Catholic parishes in Albany and volunteers as a catechist. Question: have you ever met a saint? You're in for an adventure. That's so that is the endorsement by a bishop there, Bishop Edward Scharfenberger. This is the back of the book. Each of us has the potential to become a saint. We're especially reminded of this when we receive the sacrament of confirmation, usually as a teenager, and choose a saint as our patron and inspiration. Who better than the saints and blesseds to inspire us in this battle? In The Saint I Knew, Exciting Encounters with Holiness, Kevin Wilson places you, the reader, in a story of a fictional meeting with a holy man, woman, or child before their recognition by the Catholic Church. Ever wonder what it was like to befriend Carlo Acutis, Karl Wojtyła, or Agnes Montjoie, Mother Teresa, apparently? Fire up your imagination. Let's get started. So that's a very interesting premise. So it's kind of like a fictitious novel about meeting saints in real life. So before people knew they were saints, before they were canonized and recognized as such. So interesting concept. The saint I knew. Here I thought it was going to be like I met this saint. Like the back of the book has Sandra Sabatini, and every year in confirmation we talk about Sandra Sabatini as part of our young people who are saints. And so I thought, oh, maybe he knew her. But then looking at the cover, you're like, oh, I okay. So it's a lot of other saints as well. So this book might prove to be like very beneficial. And you're never gonna guess it's from Marian Press. So the count of Marian Press is quite quite significant. This book is called Sacred Heart Gems by Father Donald Calloway, Daily Wisdom of the Sacred Heart. Now, being the pastor of a parish called Sacred Heart Parish, I, hope that maybe he aligned this to like the saints. So, like, let's just look at some saints I know. So, June 6th would be Saint Norbert, not Saint Norbert. Let's go to May 10th. He's got a quote from John Paul II. Um, yeah, so I'm not seeing that this is liturgically focused, which I personally would have liked. Um, let's see, who's a saint? Yeah, ask me a saint day when I'm not trying to think of it. But I always think it's important to like, I like look at, so I'll Google this, like, one of these days oh, like December 11th is Saint Damasus. Um, So he has a quote from Jesus to Saint Mechtild. Um, so like I would love to have a quote from the saint on their feast day, if there was a quote, because I would use that in my homilies then. So that's the only reason. Um, being the pastor, like I said, of a parish called Sacred Heart, I like drawing attention to the wisdom of the saints related to the Sacred Heart. This book also hasn't been open. This is from St. Benedict Press. So probably one of these where I promised to do an interview and I have not done that. Well, it is because I was really drawn to the title. So I got some work to do. This book is called You Are Never Too Busy, Seeing Your Time the Way God Sees It. Now, it's kind of a beautifully designed book. It's color, so I could tell you that's costly. Let me look at the price point. Oh, price point's not too bad though. Um, but kind of very beautifully laid out here. So, you are never too busy. Just a good reminder, right? And so maybe if you feel busy, get some wisdom from the saints here. Now, two more, and then we got three boxes over here. So if you're keeping track, like how much longer will Father go on for? This one came from Marian Press the other day. This they must be doing this in a yearly installment. So this is a children's Bible, if you will, the Gospel of Luke for little ones. And so last year I got the Gospel of Saint Mark, which kind of the nice thing is just simply being able to look at these and seeing, well, how does it translate, this story? So obviously, I'm recording today on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. So we hear at Mass about the Annunciation. So, an angel came to, oh, that's Zechariah. The angel went to Mary next, a virgin girl so pure. He told her she was favored and her blessing would endure. Oh, it's written in rhyme. Mary would conceive a child, the Son of the Most High. How the maiden asked. By the Spirit, he replied. The angel said Elizabeth was blessed in later years. Mary rushed to see her. As the greeting reached her ears, the babe leapt in Elizabeth with joy, and so she knew. The Lord was with the virgin. She cried out, Blessed are you. We get Christmas, so illustrated has the stories. I think this is great to share the Bible, the one book of the Bible, with little people in your life. Now, this is a package I just got in the mail today, actually. Or I went over to my mailbox today. The person actually asked for my address last week. I have no idea what's inside. So, it's from well, I won't say. Okay, so, oh, look at that. Many of you might remember I did a thing about the Hollywood priest, Father Bud. I wrote a piece on Crisis Magazine called The Priest Who Almost Left. This is a documentary that aired on PBS. Now, this is supposed to be like a influencer thing or something like that. So there's like all this fun stuff to like celebrate or whatever. So there you have it. Um, so a lot of times they send these things as thank yous for your support. So I have a little Christmas ornament here for Father Bud. That's cool. We'll post not everybody's gonna get to the end of this video, so I'll post a picture of this on social media in the next few days too, as well. Um, and a few candy canes. So a little Christmas gift. Um, because of the promotion of Father Bud and the documentary Hollywood Priest, which I just heard is gonna be on PBS. So check local listings. I think it's gonna be on nationwide or something like that. So I have three more boxes. Now, this is a box I got a while ago, and like I got the box and I looked at the address, and again, probably should have posted this a while ago, but it was from Pastime Pictures. I'm like, oh, Pastime Pictures. Someone must be like collecting something old and sending it to me or whatever. So like I opened it up a few months ago, and like I tied it all back up for when I would do this little unboxing. And maybe in the new year or as these things come in, I should just do a Father Edward opens the mail right away. Do like a little video immediately. So, oh, actually, well, I was telling you like sometimes you get thank you gifts for like collaborate. Well, we'll go with that later. Okay. So it was like a very bizarre thing. So I got a hat and it was for Monster Summer. Now, Monster Summer is actually a movie that came out in October, and who was in it? Was Dennis Quaid in it, or somebody was in it? And so this was like I think so, to have me promote it. The problem was the movie wasn't playing anywhere in Wisconsin, so I couldn't go see it. No one sent me a screener, like no one contacted me about this movie, but somehow I got this influencer box for it. So not only did I get Monster Summer, this hat, but then they sent me this little wireless speaker. So it's just kind of like a little bizarre gift. I did nothing to earn this. But anyways, it's kind of interesting that the work that I've done to promote film and stuff is recognized by studios that I've never had any collaboration with. So, Pastime Pictures. I did watch the preview, and it was one of these movies like I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I was interested in seeing it at least just to see the storyline. I don't want to say it was a horror film, but it was more of that like psychological thriller genre or whatever. So we are two boxes away, it looks like. So I was telling you, like, my friend that worked on the project, Hollywood Priest, and sent me this for my Christmas tree, which I will put on my tree and sent me this card. This is all, kind of a gratis because of, writing a piece, reviewing it, promoting it, etc. So, so a lot of times like that'll happen. So this is another one of those gratis boxes, thanks for your labors. So you might remember the Father Bud movie. No, not Father Bud. That was Father Bud. This was Father Flanagan. So I got a shirt. Um, oh, Father Flanagan. So it just says "Heart of a Servant," and then it has a quote from Father Flanagan on the back. This movie was made by Spiritual Studios. Hopefully, it'll be released sometime soon, so y'all can enjoy it. It was a Fathom event for a day. Ticket sales. Well, so, anyways, but look here. This is called All Life Vintage Hand Poured Natural Soy Wax. So, I they sent they sent a little candle. So that's nice. So we have this candle. This is all from the Father Flanagan project that I did an interview for and whatnot. And then there's a little tube, which is probably going to be the oop, probably going to be the movie poster. There we go. And so there, as projected, there is the movie poster. So Father Flanagan does have a cause for sainthood. So we can ask his intercession. We can be inspired by his story. Um, I do kind of, I do get sent some of these movie posters for some of the films I collab on. And so it's, yeah, I haven't done anything with them. Like I don't have them hanging on the wall. Um, but there's a lot of them. So, but I should put them all in one place and whatnot. So, so there's that. So that was. So I actually thought this was going to be a coffee mug, but candle is really exciting. Um, I'll just. I have another thank you gift that I got from a film. Uh, do y'all remember when Cabrini came out? Like, I got a shirt and a hat for Cabrini. Now the shirt is not my size. It's a size large, and unfortunately, I'm extra large. So can't wear the shirt, but do have the hat, so I could wear the hat sometime. But that was earlier this year, Cabrini, so got that. And finally, last thing, Father Edward opens the mail. This has been a long open the mail. Thank you for tuning in. But I did not ask for this, but it was sent to me, so that's cool. But Door County Coffee sent me the 12 days of Christmas. So this 12 different of their Christmas coffee flavors. I will tell you that peppermint mocha is my least favorite. Um, but yeah, so they have their flavors in here. So I'll look forward to brewing a pot of coffee here in the not so distant future. So yeah, I didn't pay for it. It looks like it said it was purchased by and shipped to Edward Looney. It was not, so they must have just put my information in there. So it's very kind of them. In the past, I've done the advent calendar. I didn't do the advent calendar this year. Just have a lot going on, and just didn't think I could take the time to do the advent calendar every day, as I had done previously. We'll probably bring it back in the future, but just this year with other projects needed to take a little break from that. But that's it. That's Father Edward opens the mail. That was a lot of things. So uh, I don't know. Maybe comment if you want. What's your favorite thing that you saw me open or explain? If you have any questions, I'll try to engage with comments in the comment box. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I'm super blessed to be able to share all of these things with you, and that these publishers feel compelled to allow me to do so. So thanks. One of the ways that you can really help to continue to ensure these things happen is keep listening to Hey Everybody, it's Father Edward, my podcast. Listen to it on audio, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen, or you can listen also on YouTube. Give me a subscribe over there on YouTube as well. So, maybe I know there's one last book. It was the Votman book. I did a podcast about Father Votman, so it's over on my desk. I would encourage you maybe to check that out. That was from my friend James Hanna, a great biographer, ecclesiastical biographer whose biographies I just love reading. And Edward Votman, we had a podcast episode about him, so go back, listen to that as well. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you another time. And hopefully, going forward, Father Edward opens the mail will not be this whole backlog, but maybe it'll be a 2 minute little video instead of a kind of like a whole episode video. Well, until next time, God bless you. We'll see you soon.